Risk and life are natural bedfellows. They go hand in hand. Even more so, when you enter the world of self-employment, risks take on a different personality, a different dimension, but they're there nevertheless. In this short video, I'm going to talk you through some of the common risks that you will encounter when you are working for yourself, you are your own boss, running your own business. Now, this is not to put you off that route, but it's to make you aware what lies ahead, will put you in a stronger position. You can rise to those challenges and you can maximize the opportunities. Now, being self-employed is fundamentally different from being employed. Your personal and work life lines will become blurred. They will overlap. Decisions that you make in your business will affect and overspill into your personal and family life. You'll effectively be on call 24 hours a day. But there are benefits as well to being self-employed. And with that risk comes opportunity, comes reward. So you will be responsible for your own decision making. You will get to benefit from the financial returns that you make in your business. You potentially can make more money. You're more in control. You can deliver your why. You're there to help people, and you can decide what you do and do not do with your life. Hi folks, my name is Mahmood. I'm an accountant for over 26 years who's been helping many hundreds of businesses realise their ambitions, make more profit, save tax, save time, improve what goes on between here, the attitude to money, the attitude to numbers, and have the business lifestyles they desire. Now, through this video, I'm going to talk to you about some of the key risks that you will encounter and share some tips of how to deal with it as well. Now, the first big thing, and I draw my own personal experience from over 26 years ago when I was in my back bedroom, just about starting in my business, thinking, what have I done? Bottom clenched slightly tightly, but a mixture of excitement, adrenaline, and trepidation and fear. That doesn't completely disappear, but you actually learn and evolve over time. One key element is this, the mindset, the attitude that you have will become fundamentally different to that when you work for somebody else. You are the one who's making the decisions. The buck effectively stops with you. You have that extra opportunity, but that extra responsibility as well. And therefore, you need to develop that mindset, that attitude to how you approach these things. You're not approaching that as an employee anymore. You're approaching that as somebody who's in charge, the key decision maker. There's an element of uncertainty that will creep into your business because you may be working client by client at a time. And therefore, there will be times when work is not there, that client's project comes to an end, and therefore you will have a gap where the funds won't be there for you. So make sure when you're having the work in there that you put a little bit of something away to cater for those times when the money is not rolling in from your client base. It also means that you need to take steps to expand on that client base there as well. In the early stages, certainly people who transition from the world of work may have one single customer, which may be their former company they used to work for. Now, having that former company as your client can be great. You're familiar with what they do. You know the people, you know the procedures, the processes, you know what's expected. But that can also potentially long-term be very dangerous, and any over-reliance on a single customer shifts the power, shifts that to your customer. You are at their mercy largely, and then they can start to influence the way things will develop and unfold. What that also means is that if that customer decides that they don't want to work with you anymore for whatever reason, then you are largely left isolated and stranded. Having one large customer, one large dominant customer, means that you should pursue and look for having a suite of smaller customers that you can turn over as opposed to over-reliance on one single one. Other risks that people face is they do not always take their businesses seriously. Now that sounds really bizarre. I remember myself in the early days, perhaps treating my business more as a hobby. It was fun, you get to choose what you do, but those things don't always generate money. Those things don't always necessarily take your business going forward. And that seriousness to your business means things like investing, realising that monies and energy have got to be expended today in order to generate value from tomorrow. That requires a degree of planning, that requires a degree of looking ahead in your business and making sure that you know how to get to your end destination. Other common risks are not having enough finances in your business to take care of the day-to-day running costs of your business. It's what they say in the accounting world is working capital. So if you imagine you've got a beautiful car and you want to run that car, you need to make sure you've got sufficient fuel in the tank to keep it running. It's the same for your business. You need to make sure you've got sufficient funds to take care of those day-to-day running costs, those day-to-day overheads. In my experience, most businesses will underestimate the cost of running a business, underestimate the cost of delivering the service to the customer. They will overestimate and are too enthusiastic about how quickly it takes for customers to know where they are, who they are, and come to their doors. And they will be let down by people along that path. So having that mindset, that due diligence, that idea of what lies ahead, of working capital, is going to be critical. Pricing is another area where businesses of all sizes will face risks. Many people will tend to undervalue, undercharge for their services. They don't take clearly into account what it costs to run their businesses, and it doesn't get reflected in their pricing. So do some market research, find out what compatible people are doing in that arena, and make sure you price correctly. As a bare minimum, you've got to make sure that your pricing covers your cost, but price also represents value. Now, if you need some help with the number crunching, by the way, head over to my website. There are a suite of calculators on pricing and tax and other such wonderful things here, and I will take some of the heavy lifting. With a few clicks, a bit of a slider on the screen, you'll be able to see a range of prices that you can charge. Failure to understand who your customers clearly are is another risk that many businesses encounter. Now, what this means is we like to think that what we do is suitable for everybody. Well, that's plainly not true. You need to understand who your customers are. You need to understand which industry or industries they inhabit, and you've got to try and avoid being everything for everybody. That means you don't have any recognizable USPs. So understand your customers clearly, understand what they're looking to have, what the solutions they're looking for, and that's who you deliver your services and products to. One of the last things to talk about in terms of risk is the marketing activity. Now, marketing is not just a bunch of business cards, it's not just having a wonderful website, it's not just about being on social media. Even though they are part of that marketing element, they aren't necessarily going to bring you in that business there as well. With your website, you're competing with hundreds of thousands and millions of websites around the world. So therefore, you need to think about other ways to communicate and market what you're selling. So whether it's networking, whether it's emailing, whether it's actually picking up the phone, whether it's actually referrals, whether it's talking to your network, all those things and more are part of your marketing mix, your marketing message. Another risk to be aware of is the lack of effective and good record keeping. Having an idea what you're spending money on, where the money is going on, you need to have that control. So having a good record keeping system, ideally one in a digital format where you can track what money you're spending, where the money is coming from, what things are costing, is going to be vital for you to control the costs in that early stage, comply with your obligations, and to make better decisions in your business. Now, to round up things, folks, being aware of the risks, knowing that there are more risks to self-employment, doesn't mean that you should not pursue that avenue, doesn't mean that you should not be self-employed. It's about having that knowledge, it's about taking your business seriously and not treating your business like a hobby. I hope you found this video useful. I'd love it if you could share some feedback, good or bad, let me know what you think. I'd love it if you could subscribe to the channel, help me help others be aware of the world of numbers. And apart from that, folks, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next week.